Hello and welcome to another episode of Webflow and Co, where I teach you the underlying code you're writing in Webflow. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I wanted to sit down and try a different format, maybe more conversational, and kind of give you guys a little bit of an insight into my experience and history as a developer, and a key milestone, if you will, in my development journey that kind of unpacked a lot of mystery and confusion that plagued me for so many years. So if you're interested to hear more about that, and hopefully it will help you guys with your kind of bewilderment when it comes to development, then stick around. MySpace was actually one of these, the first time I sort of got into front-end development. And the great thing about MySpace was, and I'm not sure how security kind of conscious this was, but you could put code, whether it be CSS or HTML, actually I think it was just CSS, you could put code in comments and in various different widgets on your MySpace front-end page, and that would actually affect the style and design of the MySpace page. I actually really got into this and started developing MySpace pages for my mates' bands, like their band pages and things like that. But really that was kind of, you know, the majority of the website was already built, and I was just kind of manipulating and moving things and hiding things and kind of just playing around with it. Fast forward a few years and I actually start getting involved in kind of HTML development, and again just creating websites through tutorials or copying and pasting and various things like that, kind of sort of understanding it, but not really understanding what was going on. And it was fascinating to me because it felt like magic. But at the same time, it frustrated me because I felt like I didn't know how to develop. I didn't know code. I was just copying and pasting things down. And I actually got a job in London as a kind of multimedia specialist, doing some video work, doing some kind of editing work, and some web work as well. I was hired, for anyone that might be watching, there was a language called ActionScript, which is what Adobe Flash uses, and Adobe Flash is not around anymore, but a lot of websites used Flash as the framework that built the website. It's based off of what JavaScript is based off of, which is called ECMAScript. But again, Flash being a platform, I still just was not understanding, you know, web development. And I would be asked to make websites every now and again, and I could botch together a website by, again, going on websites, going on articles and copying, pasting code. But I wasn't learning anything. And really that's a lot of what this channel is, trying to combat, because you don't learn anything if you just copy something step by step. But if you want to tweak one little thing, you're out on your ass. You can't figure that out. It's very difficult for you to do. So there's plenty of great content producers out there which will tell you how to do things step by step, but I'm intentionally shying away from that, and I'm trying to show you how you can learn for yourself. You know, I'm sure a lot of people would find my content very dry, very theoretical, but really it just comes down to understanding these fundamentals will actually enable you to go a lot further than what just copying and pasting will do. So anyway, there was a big kind of milestone that happened in my development journey, because I was making these websites. I didn't have a clue how they worked. But one day I remember I was in work and I was actually teaching a friend of mine, Edvards, shout out to Ned out there. I was actually teaching him some code and some sort of, we made like a basic website and, you know, had some JavaScript interaction and things like that. And it kind of clicked while I was, you know, sort of speaking to him. Maybe it clicked to articulate what he was potentially finding so difficult and frustrating about web development, that kind of clicked with me. And that was that you just got to not care about understanding every single little detail. So I got a request on one of my videos today asking about IDs and, Webflow planting a lot of IDs in the exported code. And my response to that was something like, don't worry about those. And again, that's easy for me to say, but don't worry about those. And that's what kind of inspired this episode. And so to put it into more practical explanation, I didn't understand how you could create a JavaScript file and then link to it, and that would then run on the page. I just did not understand how that would work. And after a while, I just stopped caring because it doesn't matter. The fact that gets pulled into the page and then runs, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me because that's taken care of by the browser. And that kind of paved the way to a lot of things I didn't understand going forward. Of course, I would remain curious, and if I would encounter something, I would dig into it. But I would start to see things where I'd be like, you know what? I don't need to understand that sort of stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, that's a very, very high level language, because then below that, the browser is running the JavaScript with something like the V8 engine. Again, don't need to know the specifics of the V8 engine, but it's what Chrome uses to run the JavaScript. And then on top of that, it's probably C or something like that. And then probably on top of that, there's there's other code that acts as the operating system to the computer. So there's all this stuff is kind of taken care of, and it's exposing the easy to use, the kind of simple stuff for us to leverage. So whilst websites just seemed like magic in the beginning, I learned to just let the browser, let the operating system do its thing, and let me just worry about what do I want my JavaScript to do, what do I want my CSS to do, and what do I want my HTML to do. At that stage, I didn't care about servers or anything like that because I was just doing front-end development, so I didn't need to know about any of that kind of thing. But now I do, and I enjoy that kind of stuff. But again, I wouldn't worry myself with a lot of these concepts because it didn't affect or didn't hinder what I was able to do. So maybe this episode was helpful to you. Maybe it relieved some sort of anxiety of being kind of overwhelmed with everything that certainly the subjects that I teach on my channel tend to be quite in depth and often misunderstood or just almost hidden things. But you learn them as you go. I didn't just learn though. I've been doing development now for nearly 15 years. I didn't just know those things. I just picked them up and just remember them. And I think that's what's, without being too boastful, I think that's what's great about my channel is that once you learn this stuff, once you learn that, target_blank is a security threat, I'll link that in the card, or the document outline, once you know that just stays with you your entire web development journey. So it's important to just pick up these things as you go, not worry or not feel pressured to learn them all immediately, because we're all just going to make mistakes, and we're not all just going to be perfect right from the get-go. But just by staying curious, not worrying too much about the magic of web development, and go in with an open mind and try and learn something new every time you do it. I try and give you the resources that I would use, the documentation, how to read that kind of documentation, how to kind of interpret it. So hopefully you're then able to just go away, and next time you're questioning which Webflow element to use, you can look up the different elements in the documentation and figure it out for yourself, because that's what I want. I want to empower you to kind of move forward and learn things as you go, rather than just copying and pasting and following tutorials without a care about how things are working. So I hope that was helpful. Bit of a different format. Might do some more of these, I don't know. Just some little chats about my kind of history of my web development journey and what I've learned and things like that. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Only about 30% of you are subscribed to the channel, so that's a bit abysmal. So give us a subscribe, give the episode a like if you enjoyed this episode. It's the easiest way to let me know that you like this sort of content, and then I can produce more of it. So, and if you want to just say hi or ask me some questions, then I'll be in the comments below. Before you go, I'm really happy to announce that I've launched my podcast, That Tech Show. It's every single week hosted by myself and Chris Adams, and we talk about technology, devices, websites, anything technology related with those that make it happen, the project managers, the delivery managers, the designers, the developers. We get kind of their insight on what it's like to actually produce all this magical technology. It's available on any kind of podcasting platform that you might use, Apple, Spotify, or anything like that. So give us a subscribe, listen to the episodes, let us know what you think. And now I'll let you go. Until next time, happy no coding.